Hi again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Around the Town with Chuck. My name is Chuck Guglielmo, a weekly interview show where we talk with interesting people around the area. And today, I have a very interesting person who I met just about a month ago today at the Jocelyn Field here in Conneaut. His name is Matt Jarvi, owner of WOW Radio. Matt, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on, Chuck. Appreciate it.
And Matt,
put the pressure on for me to be interesting already. I see here they're already starting to mount the pressure. That's fine.
like I say, I just met you a month ago, so
yeah.
I'm going to learn right with my audience here.
Right.
Give us a little bio about yourself. I think you're from West Springfield, PA. That much I know.
That's where I live right now. Yeah, and I've been over there for a long time. I'm not new to the area. I was born at Brown Memorial Hospital, like most of us. You know, you too, as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Some 62 years ago.
Yeah, I always thought that was my greatest first feat in life, was escaping a building with memorial written on the side of it. You know, that did for rather well. Dr. Zimmerman was my doctor.
Okay, remember him well.
People remember him. Dr. Jepp was my dentist, you know, back in those days. And, so we did a lot of growing up here in this area. I know the town very well. Moved over to Pennsylvania, and I've been gone a little bit for in some other markets, but been in Erie for an awful long time recently, working in the broadcast business. In Springfield, I've been living over there again since moved away for a while. Like I say, moved back in '91. So I've been chairman of the planning commission over there in the township for 25 years now. So I've got my fingers in a little bit of everything, you know, radio, broadcasting, some sports things that we talked about, township government, and a lot of things that we're doing.
And you graduated from Northwestern High School as a Wildcat?
A Wildcat, yeah, in 1977.
1977.
It was a very good year. It was a very good year, yes it was. Yeah. Good to have more Northwestern Wildcats.
Well, she's from Northwest Pennsylvania.
That's good.
It's
That's good.
Fairview Tiger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, my son went to school there at Fairview. And he graduated just a few years ago. Now he's an engineer, and he's working in Erie's Magnetics, Penn State grad, working over Erie's Magnetics. So things are good.
Okay.
Things in life are good.
Like I say, Matt's the owner of WOW Radio. And how long have you been the owner there?
Well, we're still in the process of transferring the whole thing over right now. We're getting very close right now. But it should happen, I would think, in the next couple of weeks to get it finalized. Yeah, we had some different things to kind of take care of, some issues here and there, some little things to remove and get out of the way. So I think we've done that, and we've moved on, so we're where things are ready to go now.
And your radio station, of course, plays the music that I love, the Boomer Tune hits from the 50s, 60s. I think you go into the 70s.
Yeah, yes we did. We started in the late 50s. You know, started with Buddy Holly, some Elvis Presley, Roy Orbison, Chuck Berry, some of those early rock and roll legends, and move right into the 60s. Before you know, we have Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, and you know, some of the doo-wop things and so forth, and right into the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the whole British invasion, and in through it's really like, when you listen to it, it's a very interesting station. And I noticed that the company I worked with before, I said, was Cumulus in Erie and Citadel Broadcasting, which are very large corporations. We had 5 radio stations in Erie, but most of big radio nowadays, the big corporations have really let go of the baby boomers. They're not targeting them at all anymore. That'd be people 50 plus, you know, the older age group of mature adults. Why? I don't know. It seems like the vast majority of targeting nowadays is done for an 18 to 49-year-old. That's where most of the radio stations are targeting, including over here in Ohio. You'll notice that too. They have a couple stations, you know, targeting a little bit older, but not as old as what we're looking at here, which is primarily like a 50 to 75. You know, that great baby boomer age that.
Great music.
Yeah, it is great music.
Just love the music.
And it's kind of like listening. It's like the history of rock and roll every time you turn it on. You know, and we have an enormous music library. And my partner and I that I'm working with, Bill Shannon, of course, is still there.
Who will be a guest here in a few weeks.
Good.
On the show.
Yeah, Bill and I are partners on this whole thing, and he came up with this format some time ago, and it really years ago. And I've been in business now for 37 years. Which seems like a long time until you talk to somebody like Bill, who's been in business an awfully long time. He really is. He's an incredible talent, He came up with a format, and it has replaced what used to be years ago the music of your life. That was a format that people who like the big band music and some of the swing stuff, and Frank Sinatra and Nat King Cole, and a lot of that music from the 40s and the 50s standards as well. They love that, and then of course that format has really kind of gone away. There's still a lot of people out there that enjoy that, but the new format that has kind of replaced that format is the baby boomers or boomer tunes. You know, we're there, Chuck. You know,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, we're there. We're in that over that 55 plus age group now to where we're no longer in that 25 to 54, that 18 to 49 targeting range.
So your music cuts off, what, about the early 70s? You do go into the early 70s?
We go all through the 70s.
All through the 70s,
all through
minus
the
the
70s,
disco, I would assume.
Yeah. Well, we really have a little bit of that's in there too. You'll even find a couple of 80s songs that just crest over the 80s a little bit. A couple of things from Elton John and a couple others. Not many. But you're right. For the most part, it is the late 50s through the 70s.
And WOW Radio's on 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Yes, it is.
Take us through your day as you start at WOW Radio in the morning. Take all your duties and responsibilities, what you do.
Well, primarily, Bill is going to be the one who still maintains the format, keeps it updated and so forth, does the voice tracking. I've done a little bit on there, but my job is going to be more of the outreach for the station, and of course meeting all the business owners and the agencies and anyone regarding advertising and marketing and so forth. My initial job will be trying to ramp this thing up, because it's been 5 years that Bill has been operating this pretty much by himself, you know. And the previous owner was not someone who was actively involved with working in radio, so he has not really been working it. So Bill's been keeping the thing on the air and keeping it going for 5 years now with this format. And the problem is that no one's been able to get out there, or very seldom has he had someone on staff that could actively get out and talk with people and explain to them what's going on here. So people don't realize that over the course of 5 years of having this format on the air, it's built quite an audience. It really has. And that's what it lacked in the past, was consistency in format. And when Marty was there, Marty Landon and a few others, they unfortunately, and I felt for them, they were changing formats over there quite a bit.
Yeah, they did.
For one reason or another. And that makes it very difficult, especially in a small town, because people don't know what they can expect from you when they're listening to the station. And I imagine it was a difficult time.
Are you guys, for your news, you're an affiliate of the NBC network?
Yes, we are. Yeah, NBC radio network, which we also have CNBC Financial News on the air, and it's really great news presence that we have on there. Local news too in the morning as well, and of course the weather choice. We are the emergency alert system station in the area that notify on a variety of things, topics. We just had a national test. It was the first time national test in a long time, so Connie is in that realm too of providing that information on top of it.
Now, is it all music all day, or do you ever like any talk show or anything like that? I know you do sports. That I know.
Oh yeah. In fact, the talk shows that we have would be, say, Sunday morning. We have a public affairs program that we run on the air, and we also have some religious programming that we run on the air too as well. Aside from that, no, we're very much a music station. Very much, we have specialized programs too that we do that I think really add a lot to the station, and people really love the feedback I've gotten. They really enjoy having Breakfast with the Beatles available on Sunday mornings. That I get a lot of feedback on that.
Very popular still today, the Beatles.
Oh, they really are. And that's a very interesting show. It gives you a lot of insight on that. Casey Kasem's American Top 40.
Heard him over the weekend. He's on the weekends.
Yeah, and that's a retro program.
Legendary.
Yeah, and it's people really like that. You know, WWOW and 1360 WOW is what we call the station actively on the air. It's really like, and I've gotten this feedback from people when I've talked with them that listen to the station. It's like spending time with an old friend. You know, it's a very nice, relaxing old friend that they can spend time with.
Absolutely.
And it's you know, that in this day and age right now, I think people really appreciate that more than ever. Something like that, you know. So it's and like I say, it's great music too. There's times where I have not heard a song, and I'll bring it up to Bill and say, Bill, how come we don't play this one? He goes, it's in there. And then I'll think of another one and say, I never heard this song in all the time I've been hanging around or listening and so forth, and why don't we play this song? He said, that's in there too, you know. We have such a big music library that people won't get tired of listening to it because they've heard these songs before. But we have a big rotation, which makes it even more listenable, I think. And that's one of the attractive parts to the station is that you just never know what you're going to be hearing next, and it's going to be a great favorite from the past, from the years that we all grew up,
Sure.
being baby boomers.
Sure. Now your station, 1360 WOW, in the daytime, I know I received it in Erie, and as far as Menor, is that the
Yes.
lakeshore areas
Well,
that you cover?
and south to Andover, Conneaut Lake. Yeah, it's a, and that's the effective signal we have within our very strong area. It is a 5,000 watt station during the daytime, and then we have a pre-sunrise, pre-sunset power rating too. But at nighttime, we have reduced power that goes down quite a bit, and that's due to FCC regulations. It's always been there. WOW has always had to cut back and make way for, I believe it's a station out of Cincinnati, 1360,
Oh, okay.
that has jurisdiction in order to, you know, broadcast over. But even at that, even our nighttime pattern, it still covers all of Springfield and all the way over to Kingsville. Very effectively, maybe over to the Ashtabula line, the mall area, so forth. That's would be the nighttime pattern coverage area. But it's always done that. It's always cut back at nighttime.
Right. One thing I've noticed, you mentioned 1360 WOW, but you've taken out a W. It's just WOW now, not WWOW. I was looking at your logo.
Yeah.
It just says WOW.
Well, it still, as a call letter, still our WWOW Conneaut, Ohio, but just as a name, 1360 WOW has been the name that we put out. Yeah, just you know, just as your handle, you know, your title and so forth. That's
Like you
what we
say, Bill Shannon does most of the DJing over there. I've heard Robert Lebzelder on the weekends.
And
Anybody
Bob,
else?
yeah. Aside from me, no, that would be it. And Bill's taken the week off this week. His son has come back from California, so he's got the week off. So Bob will be setting in and doing more voice tracking for the week here, or being on the air more throughout this whole week. So yeah, Bill hasn't taken any time off since I've been there. Neither have I really, but nevertheless, he deserves some vacation, and we appreciate his son too. We had an IT problem here recently, and his son just so happens to be a Microsoft IT engineer out in San Francisco. So came in very handy. In very handy, yeah. They were on the phone quite a bit and worked out the problem. We tried a lot of different things, all of us together. And since I've bought this company and moved in as an ownership role, I've done things that I never had to do before. In all the years I was at Cumulus, we always had someone else to take care of this, someone to take care of that. Every little thing, there was someone there. But when you're in a small town radio station, you're the guy.
Yep, you're the main guy.
I'm tearing computers and servers apart that I never had done before and learning all kinds of things. That oh, that's what that looks like. Okay. Now I know how to take that out of there and put a new one in, and yeah, things like that.
Any future visions or goals you'd like to see for WOW Radio coming in?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a goal, and one of the interesting things that I was most interested in with taking over the company was the opportunity that should be there next year to possibly do a significant upgrade with it. We are looking to make some significant technical upgrades. And things that have been done before, but this would be unprecedented as opposed to what's been done in the past. For a long time, the FCC has been promising that they would do something for AM radio, because AM radio has just encumbered one negative thing after another over the years, and been pretty much left alone. Many years ago, and everybody in our time, everybody listened to AM radio. FM radio is where you put beautiful music.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Right, yeah, you're
And
right.
if you wanted to listen to what's happening today and where everything was going on, you listen to AM radio.
AM radio.
We're all listening to CKLW or
Motor City.
Motor City or WOW back in those days.
Yeah.
And because of that, back in those days, that there was so much listening going on the AM dial that they used to make special effort to protect that, and that included your electrical wiring, and much of the things that are going on today, like your high tension wires, were all shielded to guard against interference with AM radio. And over time, there's been more of a transition of listeners over to FM, and they've let a lot of that go. So, and there's been all kinds of new technologies that are out that can create interferences with our cellular communications, microwave transmissions of everything you can imagine, from point A to point B that come through, and there's just a tremendous amount of digital and still analog and cellular communications that are out there today. That it's AM has really, had a lot of problems with things that are happening technology-wise and interference with the signal. So what we hope to do is that we'll be able to upgrade it and perhaps be able to add an FM frequency to it as well, and that'll be in the coming years. So that's our goal, and hopefully that will work out, and now we'll be able to make that come to fruition.
Very good.
I really hope so.
Very good.
Bill and I have talked about that. We have a lawyer in Washington that we'll be working with on that too, to try to achieve that, and that would be great for the market. It would be great for Conneaut, in addition to what we would still be simulcasting, but we would also have the FM on there too as well, which would be good.
Matt Jarvi, Wow Radio, my guest on Around the Town with Chuck. Matt, now you've gotten into some broadcasting for high school football. You just started that this year. How's that going? First of all, what made you want to do it, and how's it going for you so far?
I wanted to, like any station, especially in a small town like this, I think the most important thing is to somehow become relevant to a community. And you have to be more than just a store address or have a storefront. You have to be more than just maybe just a format on the dial to be something for a town. And we would like to keep improving and moving that way. And I think we did an awful lot of that. We did too with the D-Day reenactment that happened here in town. We did an awful lot of programming for that. It was a tremendous amount, really. A month out, we were broadcasting a lot of D-Day facts, what was going to be happening at D-Day, what they could expect. And then the week of, we had an awful lot of public service type things that we were doing about everything that's happening down there. And then the Friday of D-Day and the Saturday, we actually broke format. I don't know if you happen to notice that or not. Broke format, we were playing big band music from the era, from World War II.
Okay.
And in with that too, we also had actualities that were in there too, like FDR's address to Congress after Pearl Harbor, General Eisenhower's address to the country after the invasion of Normandy, and a lot of actual news actualities that were mixed in along with it too, which really, I thought, gave it a powerful ambience to the atmosphere.
Sure. Did you get some feedback on that?
Yeah, we got a lot of good feedback. People really appreciated that, what we were doing.
Good.
A lot of the guys down there couldn't listen as much as they want, but we had a lot of the vendors that were on the outside had it on, and everybody, because most of the power is included in the field where the encampments are. But yeah, and a lot of people, we got good feedback from our listeners and so forth too, and it was, those kind of things we want to do for the community, things that mean something to an event that we have here, things that we can do to help raise the level of it, any way that we can, and make it, make it a successful event any way that we can help out. In high school football, there was a history of doing that years ago.
Yep.
And I still talk with Marty. We'll call up each other and talk from time to time. That last time they did it was 5 or 6 years ago.
Sounds about right.
I mean, from a broadcast from the station. We were simulcasting or getting the audio from Nick and Mike Jocelyn, Nick Irucci and Mike Jocelyn, when they were doing it for the city access. But as far as the station doing it themselves, it's been 5 or 6 years ago. So how that started out was with that process. Bill always wanted to do it. He always wanted to get us back involved with high school football, and it was a goal of mine too. So I reached out to Regis and Martha Sorenhan and the other people at the City Access Channel, who I know that were responsible for doing the video taping and replaying, and talked with them and went and had a meeting with them too as well, and tried to see what we could do, because I found out that Nick and Mike, after 18 years, were retiring and no longer would be available for doing the broadcast. I was trying to find a way, if there was any way to integrate the audio at all, and after talking with them, quite a few conversations, it really didn't seem like that was going to be possible. So what I had envisioned as far as for high school football was my own vision, and the only way I could see us doing that was us executing that, putting it together ourselves, and that's what we've done. So
and you're going on the road. You're not just doing home games.
Yeah.
You went all the way down to Corey.
Yeah, we went to Corey.
I'm going to ask you about in a little bit, but go ahead. Continue.
So I was looking around for people that might be available, and there wasn't really anyone available. Also, I decided, well, I'll do it myself. Last time I've done anything like play-by-play, I didn't have any gray hair, and it was quite a long time ago. It was a long time ago. So, but it's fun. I'm having a good time with it. I'm enjoying it a lot. Was able to find Steve Grant, who's putting up with me, and
and you're putting up with him.
Yeah, I'm putting up with him too. And he's made himself available. Your name came up too as well, but I found out that you're obviously at the field all the time doing a lot of stuff there already. So, we worked it out together. Was able to get permission right before the Oil City game, but then I found out that their system went down. We weren't able to broadcast during that game. Otherwise, we'd have been there too. So we've done since we've done all the games. Then we went to Corey and did that game too as well. So the system we have now seems to be working rather well, and I'm having a good time with it. Also, we're just recently, in the last couple of weeks, I've been able to bring the coaches show on the air too as well. So we're running that before the game.
That's great.
Yeah. So we've run
both coaches, or just the Conneaut coach?
Just Connie. Yeah. Just Coach Rocco. So we're getting his input and feedback before each game. We run that. I usually start at 6:45, and in that 15 minutes, we'll do a pregame thing and then go to the coaches show.
Oh, that's really neat.
Before we start the game. So, it's a really good program. I really like getting Coach Dobran on there, and he's able to give his insight. We can find out what they're looking out for, what he sees, and how he's prepared the team and so forth. So it's been a lot of fun getting to know him, and of course I've run into him quite a bit.
He's a nice guy.
He is a good guy. Good guy, and I love the way he coaches. It's not just about football,
right?
It's about character, and he's he's doing a heck of a job with those boys out there.
He is doing a great job. Last time I talked to you was up in the press box. You were pretty familiar with the Pennsylvania schools. Now they're pretty new for Conneaut playing those schools,
Right.
but you were pretty familiar. What the heck happened in Corey? I see I had to miss that game. I see we didn't do too well.
Not too well. I don't know. I have to talk with Coach about that. They were a very good football team. Can't take anything away from it. And sometimes you look at how one team matches up against another, and you don't really know, how this can happen, and then end up with this result over here. Mercier's Prep, for instance, we handled them rather well.
Yeah, we did.
They ran all over Corey. Their running backs.
That's why I was surprised when I saw that score.
Their running backs had a tremendous night against Corey, and Connor Byers for the Mercier's Prep Lakers great quarterback too in his own right. He was able to be successful too because they were running the ball so well, throwing the ball. So they did very well against them. But they have a big quarterback. He was 6'5", 205 pounds. He's a big guy, and he's a pocket passer for the Corey Beavers. And he was very talented quarterback. He really was. He hit a lot of receivers right on the hands or on the numbers of the jersey, and they didn't hold on to the ball. So he knew what he was doing very well. He was. I think we're fortunate his completions weren't much higher than what they were, because he was throwing the ball extremely well.
Was he a better quarterback than that Corkland from Titusville?
A different type of quarterback, but I can tell you this: being as big as what he was, I can see him being a prospect. He doesn't run the ball a whole lot, but when he does, you can tell that he's able. He's quick, and on defense, he's free safety. So good quarterback, good solid quarterback. We had I thought we played rather well too, and it was. Many times it seemed closer than what the final ended up as. Alex Sturgill had a great game.
He ran for over 100 yards.
Yeah, he had a breakout game.
How'd Tyson do?
Tyson did rather well too. He didn't have to take on the running responsibilities himself because Alex was doing such a good job. But I don't know. That game was played on artificial turf. I don't know if there was
made a difference.
I don't know if there was an issue there. I know that Alex Sturgill had some footing problems, and sometimes, and remember, it rained all day long, a light rain, and you're on artificial turf. Footwear is a very important thing. Sometimes they'll have several kinds of footwear that they'll use depending on conditions on an artificial surface. So I don't know. Interested to talk to Coach about that to find out. Alex Rivera had footing problems once or twice too as well.
Maybe that did play a role.
Including one interception where he was out for the pass and he lost his footing, went down, and that's when the Corey Beaver stepped up in front of him and got the ball. But that was because he lost his footing and went down. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things. They play obviously a lot on that field and know that field rather well. So there's a lot of knowledge I think you have to have too regarding playing on surfaces like that too as well. I'm not trying to make any excuses, but but it's like anything, you just have to learn.
What do you anticipate this week with the Huskies?
I look for them to want to bounce back in a strong way. I think they realize that maybe they didn't play the best they could have last week against the Corey Beavers. They are a good, solid football team.
Did they take over first place with that win?
I think they're going to be tied with Titusville on that win.
Okay.
But and the Corey Beavers were very important for them to be able to do that, because what the Spartans are now 2-1 in the PIAA and 3-3 overall. So because of that, obviously, and there seems to be confusion over in the Pennsylvania side when I look up online, like Penline or some of the other sites that are available for sport news and so forth. They don't have Conneaut listed in the Region 4 at all. Some of them don't. Others do, even though they know that they play in Region 4, but they're not really in Region 4 because even if they win the region, they won't play playoffs in it. They go back to Ohio. So I'm not sure if there's still a little confusion about that or not. But I look from here on out for Conneaut to do very well in the rest of their schedule. And of course, Harbor Creek, I think they should play very well against Harbor Creek at home. Very well. And then go to Girard, and they'll be playing on natural turf over there. And that's a great field too as well. I expect them to do very well against the Yellow Jackets. Fairview Tigers should be a very good competitive game. But I don't think they have the experience perhaps.
That's also on the road.
That'll be on the road too in Fairview. Yeah, we're excited about that game. I mean, they have some great talent over there. Their running back is Halmy, great running back, and quarterback is Andrew Borowski. They're both juniors, so they're going to come back next year. But they've shown that they really know how to play football over there, and they have a great team around us too as well. That can do a lot of things. Of course, we're building up towards the last game of the year, and
County matchup.
oh my goodness,
That should be a good one.
there should be a real good
Grand
one.
Valley and Conneaut.
Yeah, and I haven't been following Grand Valley, but I have caught a few scores from them, and I know
Yes.
they've had some unbelievable scores over some teams, and
Yeah.
I don't know competitively who they're playing when they beat somebody 62-19, or I don't know.
Right, right.
But they have shown that they know how to put a lot of points up on the board.
Is football the only sport you think you guys will do, or do you think you move into basketball?
Not positive about that yet. I'm not sure. Still thinking about it. Still kind of entertaining
If
the
you're
idea.
thinking about it.
Yeah. The only other
That one I can do.
Well, yeah, and the other issue that we have too is that we are also the station for the Columbus Blue Jackets as well.
Oh, okay.
We're the flagship station for them in the marketplace. So
We'd
that's
have some
that's
conflicting
Ohio's.
activity.
In case anybody doesn't know, that's Ohio's NHL team. Most people don't. They go, "What league is that played?" Most people don't know that Ohio got their own NHL team,
Yeah.
and it's in Columbus, and they're called the Blue Jackets, and they play the Boston Bruins and the Detroit Red Wings and all the great teams as well. So, but yeah, we're carrying them too as well. So, and that's a long season, so we're looking forward to that too as well.
Now, did you have to get permission from the high school to do the football games?
Yeah, that's what took a while, and I understood it. We've had a change there too as well. Lori Riley came in obviously as our new superintendent, and she was new here, so she wanted to make sure that she was making a decision in combination with the school board, not knowing how they usually like to approve things. So yeah, we took a little while to go through some of the different steps and so forth. And her and Tim though and Joel have been terrific to work with, and we were able to get that done. And then I also got the approvals from all the schools that we're traveling to.
I was just going to ask that next. You have to
Yeah.
get their approval too. Have you ever been turned down by anybody?
No, the only thing with Oil City was that technically they have wherever their field is, they didn't have cell service there, or it was very bad cell service. So they had a hotspot system that was set up there, or some sort of a booster for Wi-Fi and also for cellular, and that had gone down. And they told me at the last minute that had gone down like a week out or something. They weren't able to get it fixed.
Marty Landon and I always had cell service issues when we went to Edgewood, which is just up the street.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, we just could not get a good cell there at Edgewood.
Yeah, well, the fields vary. Like at Corey, it's a great cell service there, and yeah, that's how we're operating is when on our away games is cellular.
Well, Matt, this has been great. Wish you continued success at WOW Radio.
Thank you.
And you're doing a good job, and keep playing the Beatles and the
Yeah.
Rolling Stones and whatever else there
Right.
from the 50s to the 70s.
Yeah.
Matt Jarvi, my guest on Around the Town with Chuck. We'll see you next week.